There comes a moment in the quiet existence of every INFJ when they realize that survival in a loud, manipulative, and emotionally inconsistent world requires more than empathy, more than understanding, more than hope. It requires armor. Not the kind that clangs or glitters, but the kind no one can see. The invisible armor of an INFJ is woven from silence, observation, and 1,000 unspoken truths that live between their ribs, protecting them from the weight of everything they feel too deeply, everything they see too clearly, and everyone who misuses the softness of their soul. It's not something they consciously decide to wear, it's something life teaches them to build, layer by layer, after each wound that came disguised as love, after each betrayal that looked like belonging, after every time their heart spoke in honesty and the world responded with manipulation. The invisible armor of an INFJ doesn't gleam. It hums quietly beneath their skin, a subtle vibration of strength disguised as gentleness. They've learned that most people only see what they can take advantage of, not what they can protect. So, the INFJ learns to appear approachable but unreachable, kind but unreadable, available but untouchable. The paradox of their protection lies in their ability to remain open-hearted yet closed off, compassionate yet guarded, soulful yet elusive. And that balance is not born of arrogance, it is born of necessity. Because when you are someone who can see through others as if their emotions were made of glass, you learn that transparency is both a gift and a curse. You learn that the world doesn't always appreciate the ones who see too much. It fears them. It misunderstands them. It projects its own discomfort upon them. And so, the INFJ begins to shield their depth, not to deceive, but to survive. The armor begins forming quietly during childhood, when they first notice that their sensitivity is not mirrored by others, that their compassion is often mistaken for naivety, that their desire to heal is mistaken for weakness. So they retreat into themselves, crafting invisible layers of understanding, learning the subtle art of emotional camouflage. They start listening more than they speak, feeling more than they show, watching more than they act. And each observation becomes another plate of armor, an intuitive protection made not of walls, but of wisdom. An INFJ's armor is not about distance, it's about discernment. They know that not everyone deserves access to the sacred territory of their inner world. They know that giving their energy away freely is like handing their soul to people who might not even know how to hold it gently. So, they give strategically, quietly, purposefully. They offer pieces of themselves to those who have earned the right to see behind the veil, and they remain mysterious to those who haven't. Their invisibility is not absence, it's protection. Because what the INFJ guards most fiercely is not their time, not their space, but their essence. If you have ever loved an INFJ, you've probably felt this invisible barrier. You may have sensed their warmth, their attentiveness, their almost mystical presence that makes you feel seen in ways no one else ever has, and yet, beneath it all, there's something you can't quite reach. Something they keep locked away. It's not that they don't trust you, it's that trust, to them, is not given, it's sacredly tested, spiritually earned. They've seen what happens when they open too quickly, when they hand over their heart to those who only want to borrow it. They've been drained, deceived, and dismissed. And so, their armor becomes not just defense, it becomes identity. The INFJ's armor is made of patterns, observations, and subtle emotional codes. They can sense when someone's intentions are pure or manipulative long before words confirm it. Their intuition becomes their shield, a finely tuned radar that vibrates at the slightest hint of danger. They can smile while withdrawing. They can nod while retreating. They can seem calm while preparing to vanish. And when they do, it's not because they are cold, it's because they have learned to protect their peace with quiet precision. For the INFJ, peace is not a luxury, it's a survival mechanism. This invisible armor is not impenetrable, though. Sometimes, it cracks under the weight of exhaustion, when they've been too strong for too long, when they've carried too many emotions that weren't theirs to bear. They'll retreat into solitude to repair themselves, reforge their strength in silence, and return looking even calmer, even wiser, even harder to read. It's not that they have something to hide, it's that they have learned that not everything should be shared. The INFJ's world is made of layers, spiritual, emotional, psychological, and their armor is simply the veil that protects the purity of their inner landscape. You see, INFJs are not born with hard exteriors. They are born as empaths, healers, truth seekers. But over time, when the world punishes their purity, they evolve into quiet warriors who understand that kindness without boundaries is self-destruction. Their invisible armor allows them to love without being consumed, to help without being drained, to see without being shattered. It gives them the ability to walk through emotional chaos untouched, not because they feel nothing, but because they have mastered the art of emotional alchemy, transforming pain into wisdom, heartbreak into discernment, and disappointment into power. And yet, behind every layer of that invisible armor lies a heart that still believes in goodness. The INFJ never fully loses hope, even when they've been hurt beyond words. They just become more selective, more strategic, more spiritually aware. They learn that sometimes the best way to love humanity is from a distance. They realize that sometimes the most compassionate thing they can do is walk away. Their armor gives them permission to choose themselves, even when the world calls it selfish. It reminds them that self-preservation is not betrayal, it's an act of sacred self-respect. The INFJ's invisible armor also manifests as stillness. When others react, they observe. When others attack, they reflect. Their silence is not weakness, it's strategy. It's their way of gathering energy, processing intentions, and deciding whether a person or situation is worth emotional investment. They understand that reacting emotionally gives others power over their peace, and peace, for an INFJ, is the core of their soul. Their armor allows them to remain centered even when chaos surrounds them. It helps them navigate manipulation with the grace of someone who sees the game but refuses to play it. Because INFJs have seen manipulation in every form, emotional guilt, gaslighting, projection, deceit masked as love, and they've learned that the most dangerous weapon in the hands of manipulators is empathy. So, they protect their empathy fiercely. Their invisible armor is woven with discernment and intuition so sharp that even the most charming deceiver can't fully penetrate it. The INFJ may appear naive, but they are never blind. They notice the tone shifts, the inconsistencies, the subtle cues that betray hidden motives. They file everything quietly in the back of their mind and act when the time is right. Their calmness is not ignorance, it's mastery. But what many don't realize is that this armor comes at a cost. Behind the INFJ's strength lies fatigue, a weariness born from carrying emotional responsibility for everyone around them. Their armor keeps them safe, but it also isolates them. It makes them feel unseen even when everyone wants their presence. Because when people fall in love with an INFJ's light, they rarely see the shadows it comes from. They don't see the nights of overthinking, the internal battles, the quiet self-questioning. They see composure, but not the chaos behind it. They see confidence, but not the emotional calculus it takes to remain unshaken. Sometimes, the INFJ longs to take off the armor, to be raw, to be vulnerable, to be fully known, but experience has taught them that very few can handle the truth of their depth. Their invisible armor, then, becomes both prison and protection. It keeps the world from hurting them, but it also keeps them from being fully understood. Yet, despite the loneliness, they choose it, because to them, peace is worth more than validation. Their solitude becomes their sanctuary, their silence becomes their prayer, and their armor becomes the quiet symbol of their evolution. This armor is also the reason INFJs appear mysterious. People feel drawn to them but can't explain why. They sense an energy that's both calm and powerful, both soft and commanding. That's the magnetic paradox of the INFJ aura. It's the resonance of a soul that has seen darkness and chosen light, over and over again. Their invisible armor doesn't dull their glow, it refines it. It gives their presence a rare steadiness that others instinctively trust but can never fully decode. And because of this, INFJs often attract those who are lost, broken, or searching for meaning. They become safe harbors for wounded souls. But even then, their armor remains. It ensures that they can give without collapsing, that they can love without dissolving, that they can understand without absorbing. It is the sacred boundary between compassion and self-sacrifice. It reminds them that healing others should never come at the cost of their own destruction. The invisible armor of an INFJ is also spiritual. It is built on faith, not necessarily in religion, but in energy, in intuition, in the sacred intelligence of the universe. They know that everything happens for a reason, that connections are never random, that even their pain has purpose. Their armor, then, is not made of fear, it's made of knowing. They don't need to defend themselves through aggression or confrontation because they understand that truth always reveals itself in time. They trust the unfolding of things. Their patience is not passivity, it's divine timing. There's an elegance to the INFJ's armor, a quiet dignity that refuses to be reactive, refuses to stoop to the level of manipulation or cruelty. They choose integrity over impulse, compassion over control, detachment over drama. This doesn't make them passive, it makes them powerful. Their strength lies in restraint. They could destroy with words if they wanted to, but they choose silence, because silence, to them, speaks louder. Their invisible armor also allows them to read emotional landscapes before they step into them. They can sense tension in a room, pain behind a smile, lies beneath kindness. This hyper-awareness is both their superpower and their burden. It's why they often prefer solitude. Being around too many unbalanced energies can feel like standing in emotional static. Their armor filters what enters their energetic field, allowing them to remain empathic without drowning. And yet, despite all this protection, the INFJ remains one of the most loving, giving, and deeply human personalities alive. Because their armor is not about shutting out the world, it's about choosing how to engage with it consciously. They still believe in love, in meaning, in beauty. They just express it differently now, with boundaries, with self-respect, with quiet wisdom. There's something sacred about the way an INFJ protects their soul. It's not defensive, it's devotional. They understand that their sensitivity is divine, that their insight is rare, that their capacity for compassion is not something the world deserves to take for granted. Their armor ensures that they remain whole in a world that profits from breaking people apart. It's their way of saying, I will love deeply, but I will not be destroyed by it. I will give generously, but I will not lose myself. I will care profoundly, but I will not let the world consume my light. If you ever wonder what lies beneath that calm INFJ gaze, it's an entire symphony of emotions, memories, and visions they'll never fully express. Their armor allows them to contain that depth without spilling over. It allows them to walk among people who don't understand them without losing faith in humanity. It allows them to forgive, not because others deserve it, but because they deserve peace. Every INFJ knows that their invisible armor is not permanent, it shifts, softens, strengthens depending on who they're with and what they've learned. When they meet someone who truly sees them, the armor begins to dissolve, not because they drop it, but because trust gently melts it away. They crave those rare souls who make them feel safe enough to remove it, who honor their sensitivity instead of exploiting it, who understand that behind every calm INFJ exterior is a heart that has fought wars no one saw. And that is the beauty of their invisibility. No one sees the battles, only the grace. No one sees the rebuilding, only the resilience. The INFJ doesn't need the world to know their strength, they just need to know it themselves. Their armor isn't about proving, it's about preserving. It's about walking through fire and learning how to stay soft. So, when you see an INFJ who smiles quietly, who listens deeply, who speaks gently but with conviction, understand that you are in the presence of someone who has mastered emotional survival without losing their soul. You're witnessing the strength of invisible armor, the kind forged in silence, refined through heartbreak, and polished with wisdom. And maybe, just maybe, that's why the INFJ moves through life with such calm mystery. They know that true power doesn't need to be seen, it only needs to be felt. Their armor may be invisible, but its presence is undeniable. It's in their eyes when they decide to walk away from chaos. It's in their tone when they refuse to argue. It's in their stillness when others crumble. It's the quiet confidence of someone who has nothing left to prove, because they already understand what most people never will. That peace is the highest form of strength, and authenticity is the purest form of protection. The invisible armor of an INFJ is not something you can touch, but it's something you can sense. It's the energy of someone who's been through enough to know that love without self-respect isn't love at all. It's the energy of someone who has forgiven without forgetting, who has let go without bitterness, who has learned that sometimes distance is the kindest boundary. And in the end, their armor isn't a wall, it's a mirror. It reflects back the truth of whoever stands before them. If you come with pure intentions, you'll see openness. If you come with manipulation, you'll see distance. If you come with authenticity, you'll see connection. The INFJ's armor doesn't block love, it filters it. It ensures that only what aligns with their soul makes it through. So when people call INFJs mysterious, distant, or complex, what they're really sensing is that invisible force field of discernment, intuition, and strength. It's what allows them to remain gentle in a world that rewards aggression, to remain empathetic in a culture of selfishness, to remain light in a society addicted to noise. Their armor is their rebellion against emotional chaos. It's their declaration that they will not let the world change their essence. Every INFJ eventually realizes that their armor is not the end of their softness, it's the beginning of their sovereignty. It's how they protect their gift of insight, how they sustain their emotional intelligence, how they preserve their connection to something larger than themselves. It's what allows them to walk alone without feeling lonely, to love from afar without resentment, to give freely without depletion. And maybe that's the truest definition of strength, not the ability to fight, but the ability to remain whole in a world that fragments everyone else. The invisible armor of an INFJ is not there to keep people out, it's there to keep their spirit intact. It's the sacred structure that allows them to keep seeing beauty, to keep believing in good, to keep creating meaning in a world that often feels meaningless. So, if you are an INFJ listening to this, remember this truth. Your invisible armor is not a flaw. It's your evolution. It's the result of surviving what tried to break you without becoming what hurt you. It's your proof that you can walk through emotional storms and still love the world. You are not cold for having boundaries, you are wise. You are not distant for protecting your peace, you are discerning. You are not complicated for feeling deeply, you are conscious. Never feel guilty for wearing the armor you earned through experience. Never apologize for protecting your energy. Never feel small for being selective with who you let close. Because your invisible armor is not separation, it's sacred alignment. It's how your soul ensures that you remain free to love, to create, to dream, and to evolve.